right, this is Get the Cheat Code, which is a cool podcast for creatives. So let's go ahead and
just get together and create beautiful music. I say, man, have that tough conversation immediately. Hey, man.
Agreed. Get used to it.
Let's go ahead and get the legal stuff taken care of now.
Yes.
Before we even get in here and make a hit, why would we wait till after somebody in the room may feel that one side deserves more than the other before trying to agree to an even? Why not discuss that before we even get into the room? If I don't have no leverage and I want to come to your studio and you want to produce for me, hey, bro, anything I make off top, I'm gonna need $2,000 for a song. Thank you. I ain't got it right now, bro, even if I loved your music. So I'm gonna go. No, you want me to come in here, bring all of my hopes and aspirations and pour onto this and let you butter me up because you know the game, I don't. So you know that as long as you get me to sit in here and make all these phenomenal songs, you get me to sit in here 20 hours and you charged Atlantic Records $300 an hour, then I owe you $6,000 on paper. Of course you want me to sit in here and make all of these records, my boy.
My boy?
Talking about splits.
I think it's talking specifically about artists and how important it is to be upfront.
Yeah.
With these conversations when you're in these rooms and even in general when you're just working with people.
I think it really matters what level of creative you are too, because both broke.
Well, you still want to have.
I think that was his point though, because what if it blows up?
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the issue that Glorilla ran into when FNF came.
I think it's always gonna happen that way though, just because.
Well, they're saying this is the way to avoid it because, like, if we're gonna make this song, right?
Ain't no way
even though we don't have any money.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any money right now.
It's called a split sheet.
Right, but you put it down. Okay, we're gonna make this song. We're gonna put it out. We don't have any figures because we don't have any money, but we just have to do percentages. How much am I going to get off of this if this does this? How much are you going to get off of this?
And it's on paper.
It's on paper. All right, let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, that's damn near.
But they said to do that beforehand. I think that's tough to do just because nobody knew what FNF was going to be until after they heard FNF.
I think it's a mindset shift for artists.
Okay.
Like, so if I go sit down with somebody or somebody comes over and we're working on music, it's like, all right, cool. It's like establishing that conversation. Like, look, whatever we're doing, this is what it's going to look like. Mm-hmm. Are you cool with that? Are you not cool with that? Cool. Let's fill out this split sheet real quick. Let's sign it. And then we can do whatever we need to do. Mm-hmm. I think it's just changing the expectations when you go and work and just it's being good about the business so that the business doesn't end up halting anything in the long run. You know, I've to be honest, I've never done this, but you know.
But it makes sense at the end of the day. And then even some artists that you're working with are probably going to appreciate that because it makes them feel bigger than what they actually are, maybe.
Yeah, actually, I can't say that I've never done that because I literally just did this 2 weeks ago. So, but it was virtually. It wasn't in person. You know what I mean? So, but I think that conversation is important, and I think it'll help headaches and whatnot.
Well, you know, just on another level, because we talked about FNF, and that was a crazy situation. Because, you know, once something goes to number one and you don't have the paperwork together, that's always going to cause some problems. Mm-hmm. But when Common was working on like Water for Chocolate, there was more than one person that said, you need to leave the light off of that album. Mm-hmm. His manager said it, you know, I think there were some people who were close to Jay Dilla was like, nah, you know, it doesn't fit with the rest of what Jay Dilla did on that album. But from his manager standpoint, it was like once they tried to get, you know, because there's a sample in there. Shout out to Bobby Caldwell, rest in peace. You know, people don't. This was a time people wouldn't complain about their money. He has Bobby Caldwell's estate now has 100% of the publishing
for that song.
Yes,
that's fine.
Yeah, and Common was like, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, but you know what that song did for Common's career overall, exactly, was worth it.
It paid off.
Now he still has from what I understand, you know, it's not like a Lord Tariq Peter Gunn situation where he had to give up the songwriting too. But of course he cleared the sample ahead of time, you know, but like there are people who will advise you to make decisions based on business where you're like, no, artistically and for my career, this is what this song is going to do. That gave Common his first gold album.
So the Common still gets performance royalties on it though, right?
Like he gets the songwriting, but the publishing
Well, that is the
that's
publishing.
fine.
Okay. So, but it doesn't like it still has his name on it as the songwriter. Like it says the guys in Steely Dan wrote Deja Vu. It doesn't. Lonegevity and Peter Guns. They don't. Their names aren't even on that record.
Yeah, I'd be curious about the specifics of it because there's typically two ways you get paid from that. So it's like I broke this down once on the show a few months back, but it's like it's
mechanical and performance royalties.
So you have your mechanicals essentially. So you have your distribution, right? So you put it on your platforms and all that nonsense. You're going to get money whenever it streams or whenever somebody physically buys it, right? So that's one way. But then the other side of that is your songwriting royalties, which is the same as publishing. And that is typically what's split between like a publishing company and then all the writers, being the producers and all the sample people. They're all writers.
Back when I was writing and things of that nature, man, like I wouldn't mind sampling nothing. If it gets big enough to the point where somebody is coming at me about sampling,
that's a good problem.
Yeah, so I don't care nothing about it. Yeah,
because the song we just reviewed has a very clear sampling.
Yes,
and I'm like, okay, did they take care of that business, or is it because it's an underground situation?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Stevie Wonder probably costs a little bit of money.
And plus, Stevie Wonder got to listen to the song and like the content.
Yeah.
And I would also say, with all this being said, like when we're talking about split sheets, back to kind of the point, like I don't think that's part of the negotiation here.
No,
it's just between the people sitting in the room. People sitting in the room, because once you sit down and you actually have to fill out everything else, you're going to have to declare that stuff anyways, or you don't have to, I guess. But the way that things are changing anymore, like they're introducing more and more requirements for putting music out. Apple Music just recently made a new requirement where every song that has lyrics has to have literally the lyrics written out when they're submitted. So that's a brand new requirement, which you would think, from a consumer standpoint, why wouldn't you do that? But a lot of artists just don't do it just because, like, I've never done it. It's just...
Nah, it used to be a plus if you got an album and when you open the liner notes and the lyrics were in there, so you're like, oh, they spent some money putting this out.
Yeah. So I think
that was a book.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for artists to do, but it wasn't standard across the board. Right. So that's kind of it. So, split sheets, I think in general, I think it's always good to be about your business. And I think being proactive about when you're sitting down with somebody saying, hey, I really want to work with you. What makes the most sense, instead of just assuming, because if a record does pop off and you don't have anything on paper, then as we've seen from history, it can be a problem. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think it just makes sense. Yeah. At the end, I mean, if you're serious about your craft and you definitely want to get paid, then it's just something you should do. I mean, it's kind of cut and dry.
Pretty much, yeah. I'd actually pretty much just kind of agree with what they said. So
be about your paper, man. Fetty's grill a scratch, man.